Lightworkers Unite is a podcast and social show hosted by intuitive women, lightworkers, and most importantly, friends, Mayume and Manjeet. Welcome to our podcast, where we believe there is a lightworker within all of us.
Whether you are a medium, an educator, or a nuclear technologist, there's a lightworker within you, and we have work to do.
This is a call to action.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Do you have an animal deck? Maybe we could do like just a couple quick reads.
I have so many animal
I feel
decks.
like we could just talk about what they are, how they impact us. You know, how
your spirit animal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
your
what
does that mean?
Like,
yeah, what does that mean?
Is it, and how,
I don't know what it means. I don't fucking know what it means. I just fucking know that I see animals a lot, right? I just like, what does it mean when I continually see, the deer? I witnessed when I was driving the land a big, gorgeous, enormous buck. I didn't see him get hit. I saw I knew when it happened. It was blocked. There was two of them running, and I saw it blocked, so I didn't see it. But then the one kept running, and the car slammed, and then I had to swerve, and I had to drive around him. And I was like, I'm so sorry. It was awful. I hated it. I hated seeing him like that. But it was like 4 cars in front of me, so it was like slam.
Swerve. Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway,
so sorry.
but and the buck always reminds me of my dad. That's like his animal to me. So really? I was like, what the fuck? Why did I'm like, is everything going to be okay? I just saw a buck get hit by a car and die. I hated it. I'm going to get my cards.
Okay. That's kind of a cool way to start the show. Like, I mean, it was kind of like, that's kind of badass actually. Like, we're talking about animal totems and you're like, yeah, animals are kind of showing up in your world in a very like profound way.
Well, we could talk about like the top 5 people connect with birds, right? Birds are huge messengers, and different ones depending on the bird in your area, or the one, maybe it's a color, like obviously blue jays for me are Archangel Michael. And we have great stories about how animals have come to deliver messages, right?
Right. We could do that.
And like my Uncle Jim, on the day that my dad was murdered, had a bird, and he's in Eastern Washington. In his cabin, a bird flew in and ran into the window and died. And he knew something was wrong. Oh, no. Yeah. And then my dad was murdered that day. So it's like interesting when people say, what does it mean when a bird comes to crash into your window and dies? I mean, I think, yes, it does sometimes mean something bad has happened, but I also don't think it's always that, because when it happens, people immediately freak out and get scared.
Yeah, that happened to me a little while ago. A beautiful big bird just like flew just right into our dining room window and then just fell. And so William and I it was loud, and we just kind of like stood there because we have a lot of birds in our, it's really open and there's lots of greenery and stuff. So we have all kinds of crazy birds that show up. And I've just never in, the 20 years that I've lived in this house, I've never had a bird actually like crash, and so that it was really sad. We were both outside like with a shovel, and it was still struggling to breathe, and it was dying, and so it was just like, oh my God. So I don't know, like symbolically it just kind of felt like the ending of something happening in our lives, maybe, versus like somebody going to die, because I didn't feel like it was death necessarily. What do you think of that?
I think it depends on what the emotions go through. Like my uncle, he knew. He's like, somebody died. It was a knowing for him. And so I think it just depends on how it makes you feel. But again, people just automatically associate it with death. So then they're like, oh no, something bad has happened, or something bad is going to happen. And they immediately lower their frequency and expect, they get into fear and expect the worst. And I don't want. Yes, as an omen.
Yeah.
All right.
So what are we doing? We just kind of launched into this. Do you want to back up for our audience?
I love all this. This is good shit. I just love it when we just start talking.
And then.
Right? And then another thing. And no, I say we just keep going, sis. Let's
Yeah.
just keep going.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, today we're going to talk about animal totems.
Really? We are?
We are. And that is that's one of my intuitive women's circle coming up. That's why we were.
That's exactly why we're doing it.
Right.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah, that's going to be in a couple weeks, September 1st at 5:30 and then September 2nd at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. So there's a couple different options to choose from. But we're going to talk about animal totems. And I thought this would be a really fun way for us to connect with kind of our energy. What are totems? And I know you really are connected with animals too in a really kind of profound way, probably way more than I am, just because I'm just starting to like dogs. You know what I mean? Like I always had a fear of
I'm like
of animals.
The look on my face. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What? I am?
I think you're way more connected, than I am.
Well, I just love animals. I just always had them around me, I guess, growing up. So that's different. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not. And
It's
so
taken
I
me-
want to ask you, what's the difference, if there is, between saying an animal totem and a spirit animal?
Um, I don't know. I feel like they're the same thing.
I think so too. Like,
I
what does
feel
the
like-
totem stand for?
Well, I think totem refers to
Native American?
exactly, yeah, like a
Yep.
First Nations community where that's actually where I think it really started. You know, this really
Because
profound connection.
Yes, because they
Yeah.
lived and trusted and coexisted with animals.
Yeah.
They believed in that they were messengers and their spirits were our guides and
Yes.
Yes.
Well, and even some, First Nations communities and even like in Eastern societies, there's this belief that we actually were those animals, like in a past life, right?
Yes.
So the bear, like coming back as the bear spirit, and then coming onto the planet as a human, having this really profound connection with bear, energy. So, I think that's where the totem comes from,
Yeah.
and then I think it's kind of morphed into animal spirit guides or animals in spirits, don't you think?
Yeah, your specific spirit animal. Yeah, where you'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, what's your spirit animal? You hear people talking about that. And I think that's a kind of a cool question, but I think your spirit animal, you could probably have one that you're drawn to or connected with all of your life, or they're tied to certain people, certain loved ones. Once they cross over, all of a sudden you might see their spirit animal or an animal that is trying to get your attention to convey that it's their loved one. And then I also think it's depending on the time of your life and what's going on in your world that the animals could change, or maybe they have different meaning. Like why all of a sudden when I'm seeing spiders, during this time. And it's not just summertime and they're all over my fucking house, but maybe there's a reason why spiders are showing up all of a sudden everywhere, and not just live spiders. Spiders on television. Someone gives me a card with the spider. I hear someone talking about spiders. So how does spirit get you to notice a totem or a spirit animal? Like they're all of a sudden around you and in your face.
Yes.
Do you ever notice that? Do you ever have any animals that you go through phases where all of a sudden you see a specific kind or hear about it? They're just in your field.
For sure. Well, and I think that's a great point, because I think that a lot of people feel like they have an animal totem or a spiritual or an animal, spirit guide. And that's the one that they have for the rest of their life. And I feel like you can have multiples at different times of your life. Like you're exactly what you're saying. Like there are certain times in your life where maybe you really need the bear energy, or I keep saying bear energy because that was really during a really profound time in my life. But sometimes we really are looking for panther energy, right? Like, so I do think that the animal totem does change according to the circumstances in your life. So and connecting to that powerful symbolism of these animals, it's almost like a different language to me when we talk about spirit, right? Because it's almost like we have to understand what is the inherent gift within that animal, and then the message. is hidden
Yes.
within the power of the animal. So it's almost like it kind of feels a little bit like like it's just really powerful symbolism that, is,
Symbolism. There's the
yeah, that
word.
is really
Yeah.
profound, right? It can be really, really, um, and I think that's where people get lost with animal totems, actually, because they say, oh, I keep seeing this, this wolf, I keep feeling it or hearing it or what, dreaming about it or whatever, and then they just leave it at that. Where
Hmm.
what this podcast is about in the intuitive circle, it's about saying, maybe that's not it. Maybe there's another level here, that this animal is, this spirit within this animal is trying to teach us or guide us, or maybe even give us a glimpse of the future, premonition. Yeah, right. So, you agree?
Yes, I agree. And I always want to say, okay, so who decided, and maybe it is First Nations, who decided what animal means what symbol and what it
Yeah.
stands for? And a lot of it is the traits of the animal, their
Mm-hmm.
characteristics and their environment and where they lived. So, someone's spirit animal that's a dolphin is going to be very different than one that's a lion, and for different reasons. But I'm like, who came up with this? Because you can Google all this shit on the internet and say, "Ooh, what does it mean when I see a lion, in my dreams, or a lion, da 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 da?" And then
Yeah.
there'll be all kinds of stuff that pops up, and some of it is similar to one another that people have posted, and then some of it can be kind of tweaked and a little different. So, where are they getting this information?
Yeah.
How do I trust that? Okay, I'm just going to Google this to find out what this means and kind of go with it. I mean, like, how do we
Yeah.
know? How do we
Yeah.
know?
Where do you think? I mean, you kind of alluded that it might be from our First Nations community that has this really deep, spiritually profound connection with the raven and the animals of the area that they live in.
Buffalo, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is some kind of spiritual, it's a transcended message from our ancestry, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, how do we
Mm-hmm.
trust that? Like, what do you think?
Well, it must have come from somewhere, and I think people are doing research, so it must be somewhere. And I haven't done that research. In the way I work, if I'm seeing an animal regularly, or a creature that I feel like is popping up, and maybe it is a dream, when I look something up, and I've shared this with my clients, is go ahead and Google it and ask spirit, your guides, to join you in trying to find out the meaning. You could journal about it and ask your guides and pay attention to the thoughts that enter your mind. Or if you're going to Google something, I say whatever pops up, it could
Mm-hmm.
be the first thing you read, right? That first one is spirit's going to show you. And if it doesn't resonate, then keep scrolling until you find the one that resonates, that hits you, that's like that little tink in your body. You're like,
Yeah.
ah, this is the one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it could be different meanings in spirit saying, well, for this moment, this creature means this meaning. So when you're looking for an answer, trust your trust your gut, your instinct, and your guides to say, show me the meaning. Why am I seeing spiders? And
Yeah.
so if you're Googling anything, for anyone who wants to Google something, don't always just stop on the very first one. Go with
Mm-hmm.
what resonates. Go
Yeah.
with what resonates.
I love that. Yeah.
That's how I feel. But
So, do you know where I see a lot of animals show up, which is kind of like was kind of surprising to me, is vision boarding.
oh yes, I could totally see that. Yes. That makes
Yeah,
complete sense.
yeah, it's kind of interesting because the whole intuitive vision board process is it's about releasing judgment, and it's about just really like trusting in your instincts. It's about letting
Mm.
go of any kind of like judgment or fear or joy even that you have around the images that you're collecting. You want to just remain really like just kind of neutral, but no judgment. Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
yeah, and so it's really fascinating once the boards come together and they come to life, what these animals, what their messaging is. So a lot of times in the interpretation process, it's quite interesting to see like this blue or this beautiful green turtle, what it really
Mm.
means. It means strength, wisdom, it means home, like all these really cool things that might really be resonating with that person at that time in their life.
Right. So that's interesting to me. So when they are flying through, and I've done this with you before. So when
Yeah.
I'm flipping through a magazine and let's say I see and I'm really drawn to like the turtle and maybe it's the colors or the way it's in the water or maybe it's cute face. Who knows why? But I'm like, okay, I'm drawn to this and I want this on my board. So when it gets to you and you're doing your interpretation, do you look up anything like, okay, what does turtle means? Or do you just go with like, how do you interpret that spirit animal? Do you already know what a turtle stands for, or is it
Yeah.
placement, color? Like, tell me about that process,
Yeah. Yeah.
about how you read the animal.
The interpretation process, it really does, uh, it does, um, determine on placement on the board.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like past, present, future. It could be, an evolutionary kind of story basically in the
Mm,
vision board. But I do definitely look up some of the animals that I'm not as familiar with. And a lot of times
mhm.
that just acts as confirmation for me because I can have a pretty good
Right.
sense of like, oh, wow, what this means. Like we had this one gal, a really beautiful soul, but very, very chatty, lots of throat chakra, uh,
Hmm.
you know, going on in the workshop. And on her board, there were parrots everywhere.
Oh, that is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, yeah. And so, it wasn't on accident, right? That these parrots were coming
Right.
out. And they're
Hmm.
saying, they were basically saying, I feel like it's okay to speak your truth. It's okay to be heard. It's okay to be seen in your beautiful colors. But let's be mindful, like about how we're using our throat chakra and how we're,
Yeah.
we're mimicking other people's conversations, gossip, just it was like front and center, like wow,
Wow.
yeah. So it's just really profound the way, and I think, she was kind of like, I never really thought about parents before. So it's not like something that is at the forefront. It was just something she was really gravitated to. And this is after we've done some coaching and kind of opened up ourselves, in the vision board process. But fascinating,
That is fascinating. So you're telling me that she like didn't own parrots or didn't have an
No,
attraction to parrots.
no.
She just at that moment when she was
Yeah.
flipping through was like, "Ooh, I like these." Isn't
Yeah,
that
she's like,
interesting?
I don't fucking know why I have all these
Oh
parrots
my
all over the
God.
place. I don't understand. But
Yeah.
it's like, through this
Yeah.
process of connecting with the animal totem, that parrot was really profoundly connecting to her throat chakra, saying,
Yeah.
hey, let's find some balance here, in this area, but also honor that you want to be seen and heard in the world. Like there's nothing wrong with that. So
Right.
it was, yeah, these animal
It's
totems are just so powerful.
That's so interesting. And I also think maybe her guides, her higher self is also in that part of that process
Absolutely.
of selecting. So, oh,
Yes.
your higher, so her guides are saying, dude, you got to put these parrots on here so Manjeet can fucking tell you, what's going on.
Totally.
So,
Yes. Yeah.
right.
And that's why it's
That's
called
part
an
of it.
intuitive vision board process because it
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
is like asking you, it's
Yeah.
challenging you to really tap into that place within yourself where you are connecting with your spirit guides, you're connecting with your higher self. You're connecting
Yeah.
with a part of you that is saying, this is what is possible for me, you know.
Right.
And
Oh,
animals,
God,
I
I got
think,
to do another one. Sorry. Go ahead.
oh yeah, I
Sorry.
got
I
one coming up.
interrupted
I know
you.
this. No, no, that's totally fine. Yeah, I have another one coming up in the fall. Actually, it's called Grow. So yeah, this isn't supposed to be about intuitive
Mm.
vision boarding, but um, it is interesting how they're. I do see a lot
How
of the
animals
animals,
show up.
yeah,
Yes.
show up in
Yeah.
there. It's quite amazing.
I believe that animals are trying to communicate with us.
Oh
Creatures,
yeah.
animals, insects. I mean, and again, I think I talked about this with birds. Birds are messengers, and there's
Mm,
so many, and they're all beautiful. And sometimes I think our loved ones are sending us the birds. So I
yeah.
remember listening to Suzanne Giesman, who I took some courses with in mediumship, and she talked about birds and creatures and animals and how they're trying to, um, communicate with us. And so someone had asked the question, well, how does the animal know? And she said it's really source, right? Or spirit.
Yeah.
Maybe it is your loved one. So let's say it's my dad. He's trying to let me know he's around. And so he can intuitively connect with the spirit of the animal and say, hey, will you walk by the tent? And, so my
Mm,
daughter sees you, or, collectively talk to the birds, the two cardinals that are floating around to signify that the mother and father who's crossed over are still together. So those kinds of things
mm.
to me, I'm like, who is it? The spirit of the animal is also working with spirit, your
Yeah.
guides, source, with your loved ones, where we're all one. We're all in
Yeah.
this beautiful web of connection so that they're able to send me a blue jay. They're able to send me the buck across the tent. I had that happen where I was camping and the shadow of a buck just stood in my
Mm.
presence through the tent. It was scared me at first, but then it
Oh,
was
wow.
majestic and beautiful. And
Oh,
I knew it was my dad. It was very
oh,
wild. But again, so tapping into, how
love
does it
it.
make you feel when
Yeah.
the animal is in your presence or you come across a creature or animal over and over and over again? Where
Yeah.
it poses the question, oh, what is my spirit animal? Right? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure, do you get asked that? I think sometimes people will be like, gosh, do I have a spirit totem? Like, who's mine? And then how
Yeah.
did you find that out? Right? You're just going to have
Yeah.
to, because I think it changes
Yeah.
sometimes. So,
Yeah. I think it
yeah,
does.
all
I
these
love what you're saying
questions.
about the animal totems, because I do think, right, it is spirit giving us knowledge. They're trying to help us. They're guiding us, right? They're giving us awareness that is beyond the our senses, our physical senses. But what I love about animals is they're kind of like closer to this dimension. All right, they're actually on the planet with us, so it's like it's like a bridge or a conduit for spirit. So it's
Yes.
one way, right, that spirit can actually be in this dimension to talk to us, which I think is
Uh-huh.
really, it's very profound, and it's very third dimensional, first, second, and third dimensional, right? It's like a way
Mhm.
that spirit can actually be tangible, right, on the planet,
Right.
because we're always trying to connect with spirit in the sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 13th, fucking 20th dimension, right? But these animals, they're like, fuck that shit. Maybe we we
Yeah.
need to bring it home with a
Yeah.
parrot or something.
Oh my God, it's
you
so
know?
true. And tied to this earth and tied to the human experience because we are
Yes.
cohabitating with these
Yes.
beautiful beasts and creatures and
Yes.
spirits. I love that it is really tied to the earth. I mean, shoot, I
Yes.
don't know. Maybe Mars has animals. I don't know if other planets
Yeah.
and maybe they have other creatures on other planets and other, universes. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. It's tied to that plane.
Yes.
It's a different dimension and tied to the earth
Connection. Yeah.
connection. Yeah.
And I think some people on this planet, they really need that. They need that comfort. And I cannot tell you, I know so many people in my life that say they are way more comfortable with animals than humans.
Yeah, baby.
Right.
Yes.
Especially, I think, like some light workers that are really trying to find their light and integrate with all the energy of people. If you're an empath and you're bumping into all kinds of energy, and,
Hmm.
animals just have a very different frequency, but,
Yeah,
they're,
that's a
they're
great
on
way to
on
say
the
it.
planet. Right. So I just think that, connecting to that animal energy, that the totems, the
Yeah.
profound symbolism that they can offer us, it's
Shit.
just one of the many ways that we can do it. I can
We
connect with
should have
spirit.
had an animal communicator on the show. Maybe we can
Yeah.
do that
Well,
another time
that's going to be
because
part two.
yeah, there. I love you so much. Yes,
I
because
love that.
really and truly, and I have a client of mine who's working with an animal communicator herself, and
Yeah.
she's really drawn. Claire, actually, I'll say your name, Claire. She's really
Yes.
drawn, it's really resonating with her to do that work herself. So she's kind of learning,
Yes.
how do I become an animal communicator? How can I
Hmm.
tap into that, like you said, frequency of the way they communicate? I love it. I think you're right. There are some
Yeah.
people out there that connect more with the animals than with humans.
Yeah.
So it's
And I'm
wild.
going to be honest. I totally, for a lot of my life, I've just never understood that. Animals have always scared me, you know, and we've talked about this, but I think it is because I have very limited exposure to animals, and then when I did have exposure to dogs in particular, I was
Yeah.
attacked when I was really young.
Yes.
And so it was a
Yes.
huge Irish setter, and they called him Crazy Red. And Crazy Red was out. I was a kindergartner, and he attacked me. I was the slowest one of the
Oh,
group,
shit.
and I fell on my face, and I turned around, and he was biting, like he was just snapping at me. And I remember as a little kindergartner thinking,
Oh,
God, take me now. I was so afraid that I was like, just I'm just gonna die here, like with this
so afraid
big,
of the suffering, right? Like being
yeah, this,
chewed or bitten and
yes, I was like, ah, this is not
oh,
okay. And so, fast forward, I'm pretty
of
solidly
course.
into my 40s. And I've just recently, solidly into my 40s, really late 40s. But
Yes.
I've just started to create this profound connection, with dogs because,
Yeah.
Mina, my youngest daughter, is totally she
Animal
came
lover.
out of my body like literally wanting a dog. And I really
Oh,
believe that was for me. Like I really feel that she was brought here with her profound connection with dogs to save me, to help me, conquer that fear of dogs.
mm.
She would sleep with all these stuffed animals in her little nightie. Like all
No
the little
way.
animals and all the little
So
dog heads
cute.
would be all around her neck, and she'd sleep all like jacked. Her neck was all freaked. And she just
Oh,
she just came out of my vagina wanting a
mm.
dog.
A
And so
dog.
it took a lot of courage for me to like overcome my fear. Like I wouldn't
Mhm.
even go to like parties if I knew people had a dog.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
very debilitating. Running outdoors, I stopped doing that. Like it was
Mm.
really, really, really
Of course.
debilitating. And I was really jealous. I think I was very jealous of people that had like this really cool connection with animals, that they felt like they were, they could hear them, they could understand them. I just seemed so foreign to me,
Not
and so
anymore, though.
not anymore. Yeah. Now that I have Wally, my little
I
Cairn
know.
Terrier, a little
Uh,
rescue dog, it totally transformed me. And then I was like, oh, I get it. Now I get it. I get it. Like
right?
just the way he looks at me and the way he understands my emotion and the way I just it was just like it's like a whole nother language. That's totally how I feel about it. So this animal totem like stuff, it just is so profound to me. It's such a I think it's just such a powerful way to connect with spirit in a really creative and inclusive way on the planet. I'm a
Right.
huge
And
fan. Yeah.
a huge fan of animals and so many beautiful ones that maybe you're not going to see them every day like a dog would be where it's in your home or a cat.
Yeah.
Um, that's in your home every day and you're really bonding with that spirit, that soul that's part of your soul family, right?
Yeah.
Is what I believe. But
Yes.
yeah, and if you're out in the
Yes.
wilderness, or again, what if you just have a love for, like my husband, who's such a guy's guy, he loves dolphins. And it cracks me up. I'm like, really?
Oh.
Like, it just, there's something kind of cute and funny about him connecting and really intrigued and loves dolphins.
Mm,
And I mean, who doesn't? They are cute. I always think of Flipper for all those that are my age and
yeah.
above. Like Flipper was there and that sound, and Flipper could talk to us and save people, you know. And
Yeah.
I do see they're so cute, and when they dance and they do
Yeah.
want our attention, right? They're float, don't they travel in pods? Is it called a pod? I
Yes.
can't even remember,
I
right?
think
And
so.
there's like
Yeah.
300 of them and they come out and
Yeah.
dance for you. I can see how their spirit, their connection to humans of trying to reach us and trying to bring
Yeah.
us joy or laughter is really profound. I just think that
Yeah.
animals are there. Now you have dangerous ones that like cougars fucking scare me, right? I don't like the big cats. I like looking at them from afar. I love cats. I do not want to come in contact with a large cat. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But they mean something. They stand
Yeah.
for something. They are a symbol of something.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
funny.
we
I
could.
prefer the big cats. I don't, I mean, I'm obviously, I'm deathly allergic to cats. I really, really,
Yes.
I can't, and it's really weird. They love me. Cats will find
Mm,
me in a room and rub up against me. And it's like,
yeah.
they've known me forever. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
oh, I really want to just like give you a big cuddle, but I'm
I
gonna like my
know.
eyes are gonna start bleeding, and my throat,
Yes.
it clears, and it's such a
Oh,
weird thing because I do have a connection with them, like I do really love them, but it's not meant to be in this life for some reason.
isn't that interesting?
It's really
Right?
bizarre, yeah. But they love. I mean, even like a lot of my friends that have cats, they're always like, how the hell did that cat come out? Like they're always under the bed when people come over. Like, it's almost like kind of weird, like how much they're connected to me. But
It's a
I,
past life. Have we talked about this? You and the priestess with your
yes.
cat, the black cat, right? Yeah.
Oh
And
my
that's
goodness.
Wally now has is kind of taken
Yes.
the form. So it's a cat, small dog, black. I don't know. I just feel like he was a cat in a previous
Oh
life with
yeah.
you.
Yes, he does definitely act kind of cat like he's very
Yeah.
like kind of
Yeah.
slinky and like cuddly, and he sits in
Yeah.
those little curve, like those little
Yeah.
circles, they cuddle up. Yeah, it's really fascinating. But I had to say about Johnny, you were talking about dolphins,
Yeah.
and I'm so not surprised that he's attracted to that, because when I think of dolphins, I think of family.
Mm. Mm.
Like he's a
Mm-hmm.
real family man. He loves that,
Yes.
and I think of fun. He likes to have fun and laugh, and he's a upbeat, positive kind of person. He's got that dolphin energy in him. And
Mm.
I think it's inherent, it's natural, it's not a fake. He's not a fake
Right.
guy.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's real, it's like
Oh,
that
yeah.
real dolphin energy, that really high energy, fun, loving.
Yeah.
But they're also very intuitive,
Yes, they are.
and I think Giant has a lot of that too, that I think he uses in business and work. Like it's not maybe like you do it in mediumship, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he can read a room.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? He's got
exactly.
those refined, like he's tapping into like, that dude's not listening, or what's going on there, or I think that's what makes him
Mhm.
really successful. I don't know.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Yeah. No, I agree with
Banging
you.
the mic.
He
Boom, boom.
I think you're right. Now, of course, I would have never put that word next to Johnny, intuitive, but there is a sense of intuitiveness, yes, and intuition. Like we all say, we all have it. We all
Mhm.
have intuition. So, and we use it differently. Now, he may
Yes,
not probably proclaim or want to resonate with the term light worker, light worker Johnny,
exactly. Yeah.
but in his work, does he read people? Yes. Does he kind of get hits of like, this is what you need to do? Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
does he, when he's hiring people or how things are going to go? I think you're right. He uses it every day and probably fucking doesn't even realize it.
Oh, I know.
Probably
Well, that's what
doesn't
this
even
podcast is about,
realize it. Yeah.
right? It's about like our opening. This is about people who are in education. They're doing all kinds of jobs out there, and maybe not even understanding that, we're really tapping into something here. Like there is a light
Hmm.
worker within all of us. And, we can choose to like embrace it at whatever
Yeah.
level you want.
That's right.
There's no
Yeah.
judgment here. But yeah, I just
And
thought that
we
was
have work to do. There's a light worker within all of us. No, it's so true. And people would say I'm not a light worker because they associate it with a psychic medium or
right.
an animal
Exactly.
communicator and
Right.
no.
No. And that's
Yeah.
what we're breaking. We want to break that paradigm, right? We
Yeah.
want to break
Yeah.
that and say, where is the light worker within you? And what are you ready to embrace?
Yeah.
So maybe, yeah, you don't want to say I'm an intuitive, but
It's
that
okay.
doesn't mean you're not going to use it. Yeah.
Right.
That
We
awareness is,
all
is really key.
we
Yeah.
all have it. We all have that intuition within us. So,
Yes.
something that you had said before we start pulling awesome animal cards is
Oh,
that something that you had taught me in coaching was the three brains, right? The three minds or the three I think it was called the three brains, where it is actually your mind,
Yeah.
your heart, and your gut. And that
Yes.
really resonates with me. And I use all three. And I teach my clients, when we're doing soul sessions, to tap in
Yeah.
and find out which one speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
One's going to speak to you more. You might use one more than the other. And
Yes.
I find it really interesting that light workers probably, if we can break it up and teach all of you that are listening to this, that you have these three brains, or did you call them
Hmm.
brains or minds? I
I
can't,
call them three minds. And I don't
three
know if that's,
minds. Okay.
yeah, the three
You're
minds. Yeah.
the three minds,
But
the
they're like
brain, the
brains.
heart.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, no. But
Yeah.
just knowing that you have these energy centers of picking
Yes.
up intuition and using
Yes.
them. So when people say, "Oh, I don't know, I get this weird gut feeling," or "I don't know,
Hmm.
my
Yeah.
heart feels heavy," or "Gosh, my mind is just loaded with blah 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 stuff." It's just all those three minds are working to help you. So which one's the
Yes.
strongest, and then use them all, right?
Yes.
I just find it so interesting. Anyway,
Yeah. And I think
I don't
that
even
was
know what
kind
I'm
of,
talking about.
no, it was just, it was, yeah. And that was born from my years of working at the University of Washington and doing some
Mm,
research with some of these amazing PhDs and PhD
mm,
students, and they would get to a certain point in the process. And all of a sudden, just like with their mind, like, just get this hit that I need to stop right here. All right. And this isn't working. Or what is missing? Like they could just feel like something
mhm,
was not right, but technically everything looked right. So that always
mm.
intrigued me. Like, how are they tapping into like what's really wrong here in this really profound, like life-saving research? I'm like, they are not using just their brain, they're using their heart, they're using that gut instinct, they're using the power of perception and looking at all of those things. And so I feel like, that's kind of where that was born. I think some are more top heavy, maybe they're using their brain more than they are their heart. And that's what I think light workers challenge can be, is balancing the brain, the head, the heart, and the gut,
Yeah,
using all of them kind of in balance and harmony so that you can
yeah,
confirm, like, yeah, I'm feeling like this, but do I feel that way?
right.
What does my gut say? So you're kind
That's
of
my
creating
gut
that.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so where do
yeah.
you think animal totems come in with that?
Well, that's what's so interesting is because I think they are tied to one of our energy centers or one of our minds, one of the three
Yes.
minds. We
Yeah.
connect with them. And so when you were speaking about the dolphin and how the dolphin is intuitive and how John really resonates and really likes and is drawn and attracted to
Mhm.
dolphins, he uses his mind all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just
Absolutely.
a right and he's intuitive that way. And
Yeah.
for me, I think I'm more heart centered. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm just feeling that. More heart centered, and I gravitate to cats. I've always, all my life, loved cats. They cuddle, they speak to me, they sleep with me, they follow me
Yeah.
around everywhere I go. I have one
Oh.
here laying at my feet right now, and
Oh.
they cuddle and like hang out on my chest all the time. You see those um,
Interesting. Yeah.
Bitmojis, those little cartoon Bitmojis, right? There's one where the girl's in bed and there's a cat on her chest, like,
Oh.
wake up. And that's how I wake up. The cat is on my heart, looking
Mm,
at me like, come on, mom, it's time to wake up. So I don't know if I'm
I
just
love
talking out my
it.
ass. I just feel like there's a certain connection
Yeah.
to certain animals, and maybe through one of those. It just made me feel like I wanted to talk about that, the three minds.
Yeah, no, and I think that's true. Well, and I wonder too, I think animals are really in tune with those three things because they're beings on this planet. They also have a
Mhm.
brain, they also have a
Yep.
heart, they also have a
Yes.
gut instinct.
That's
So
right.
so it's almost like, we get to tap into that kind of frequency where they're doing that. They're
They're doing
surviving.
it.
They're
Yeah.
doing it, they're sending messages.
You're
And
so
we,
smart.
huh?
You're so smart.
No,
Of
we,
course.
we so
I
smart.
know. But of course, but I mean, of course, I'm sitting here thinking, of course, it's just, of course, they have a mind and a heart and a stomach. And I don't ever think about that. so much. It's like, oh, fuck yeah, they do, man. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
yeah,
today,
I wonder if that's
right?
like because they're so proficient at that. They're so good at
Yeah.
that because it's in they're in their natural instinct, like the dolphin is,
Yeah.
wise, really clever and family oriented. And but then also,
Mm-hmm.
survival instinct. They're using their gut instinct every
Mm-hmm.
moment in the water,
Mm-hmm.
probably.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
we I think we're like top heavy, like and sometimes more gut. Maybe sometimes we trust our gut more, and people aren't light workers aren't using their brain as much, their
Right.
rational side, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
using like, oh, I feel this way, and my gut is telling me this, but technically you don't have enough money to do all of that. So
Yeah.
there's a disconnect, right? So that's
Yeah.
where I feel like light workers can really use these powerful animals in their life to create that balance of mind, heart, and gut. The three
Yeah.
minds. Yeah.
The three
That's so
minds.
funny you said that. So how do
Oh,
you
I
want
love
to
it.
did you have any other thoughts about the animal totems, or do you feel like we
Well,
just want to we kind of we're
I
just
don't know. I'm so
going?
interested. I know it's hard for our listeners to interact with us, and that will change, differently, guys. In season two, we're going to have more interaction with you all. But I'm so curious to see what other people feel about if they notice that they've been drawn to a certain animal all of their
Yes.
lives or animals, and what do they feel it means? Because I
Mhm.
think it means different things to different people.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
I
what's your
really
animal? What
I
do you,
for
I know
sure
you
a
a
cat.
buck.
It
Oh,
is for
okay.
well. So the different animals for different things. I'm very attracted to. I sometimes think that I was a cat in a previous life,
Oh, I
maybe a
love it.
big cat. I don't know. I am drawn to cats. I am. I love
Mm,
them. I there's something about them. I don't know.
mm,
I've always had them in my life, and I just feel like there's I love to cuddle. They're independent. They're also very fucking stubborn. I'm
yeah.
stubborn, and so there's just many things about them that I really love and enjoy, and I just love to have a cat around me. I like that.
Wow.
I know it's kind of weird, but the deer, I will say, deer is really
Mm,
for me growing up with my father hunting and seeing a buck just is such
mm,
a majestic, powerful statue of beauty and pride and protection, like looking over the forest. I don't know. It's very, like a stag is very powerful and majestic is the word I keep hearing. And I'm
yeah.
drawn to them. In fact,
Love it.
look at the picture of this beautiful stag of this spirit animal oracle from
I
Colette Baron Reed.
know.
Right?
I
Is that
love
just so
it.
beautiful?
Yeah, it's
And
gorgeous.
there is I'm the antlers. It's just again my upbringing. My father's a
Yeah.
hunter, so he used to talk about the beauty of the rack, the antlers,
Yeah.
and really honored them. Even though he hunted, he honored them, and
Mm,
I see that connection with him. So his
yeah.
connection with them, and now my connection when I see them will always, always bring me to my dad in his spirit. Always.
Oh, I
So
love it. Oh, I
yeah,
love it.
I
Isn't
know.
that great?
It's cool. Yeah, Blue Jays are Archangel Michael, without a doubt. So, I don't know. What about you?
Without a doubt. I love that.
Without a doubt.
Oh my God, you don't even
Oh my
know, Blue
God,
Jays.
totally. I did say it
Blue
like that.
Jays.
Without
No,
a
I love it. It
doubt.
was awesome. It's like you're just the confidence. I fucking love it. It's like, yeah, obviously, Blue Jays are right. Oh,
Jays.
come on now.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think I'm the only the. I mean, just because I'm animals have always been kind of like an enigma for me in this on this planet for the
Mm,
majority of my life. Um, I think one of the most powerful animals for me has been a dog, just because
yeah.
it really, even though they represent like loyalty and all of that stuff, for me, the dog represents challenges. It represents
Mm,
overcoming, fear, for me. So whenever I get a reading
yes.
and a dog shows up, that's what that means for me is there's something that you're ready to overcome. You will overcome this fear because that's what it meant to me. And also when,
Yes.
we were walking we were in Ithaca this last week visiting my brother, and there are these. We went to some of the falls. You have to go to the Ithaca Falls; they're just gorgeous. There are
Mm.
so many of them there, but there are these beautiful dogs walking in a trail, and I was like, "Oh, you did that, the baby! Look at the little dog!" And my daughters
Oh
are
my
like,
gosh.
"Who the actual fuck are you?"
Because you've never done that before,
Never.
right?
I've never been like that. And I'm just like, look at the little baby dog. It's just so cute. Are they twin dogs? I mean,
No
really,
way.
I was just, I mean,
Yeah.
they've completely, like Wally has completely changed my life with that
Oh,
regard. It's
I love
opened
to
my
hear
heart.
that.
Yeah, to other dogs, other animals, and mostly in our culture, we see dogs, right? Like
Yeah.
they're the animal that is most profoundly in people's homes, usually, or cats. Um, so dogs, yeah, dog that the dog totem is really a powerful one for me, I think, in this life. And also um bear. I grew up in northern Alberta where we had lots of bears. And
Mm.
so I just was very familiar with them, never, ever, ever afraid. We always played in the woods forever and ever. We saw bears all the time. I was never scared of them.
Really?
No. And then when I was going through my cancer treatment, my really good friend, one of my best friends, Raina, she she was seeing a lot of bears around that time. Like actually I even saw one on a trail, but they were just kind of everywhere around her. And she sent me a pendant with a little bear on it. And
Mm.
I have it like hanging where I see it every single day. And it really helped me get through that journey, that part of my journey where there was a lot of fear and a lot of
Mm.
pain. There was a lot of recovery. And it was a solo journey. Even though I had a lot of
Yeah.
support, when you go through something like that, you're kind of battling on your own. There's no one who's going to take your cancer away from you but you.
Right.
So it was
Right.
that bear energy really was about resilience. It was about me being bigger than I think I am, being
I like
stronger
that.
than, yeah, like this.
Yeah.
So I really
Yeah.
invoke that bear energy to say, you know what, fuck you. I'm not gonna put up with this anymore. You're gonna, like, cancer gonna leave my body. But it was like this really weird thing because I've never really, other than when I was a young girl, being around that bear energy, I've never, like, not that people would be like cuddling bears and shit, but I just,
Yes, teddy
like,
bears.
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
I
yeah.
guess, yeah, that's true.
Right? No one would be cuddling bears and shit. Yeah.
I know. It's like, I don't know. It's so weird, but it was really cool that it came to me through Raina, through my sister,
I love
that,
that. I
and I
love
think
that.
that is another thing about animal totems, that, they can come to you in different ways, either by dreams or walking by your tent late at night, like your buck did. Like, what a
I know.
beautiful image, that is. But it can also come to you as a gift from
Yep.
your friends or from your sisters, that you know um they're trying to talk to you through them, the people that love you the
Yes.
most. Yeah.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
how spirit tries to, yes, to reach you.
Mm.
I
Isn't
love
it just
it.
so beautiful? I'm so grateful. And I like talking about animals. I feel like a whole different world had, like, opened up within my life because I
I
was blinded
bet.
to all that. Like, people having these really profound connections with their animals. And I'm just like, what? So what?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And maybe some of our audience, they can relate to us about that. Like, maybe there
Correct.
are
Yes. Not
people
everybody
that,
does. Yeah.
no, and there's no judgment there. It doesn't,
Yeah.
it's okay. It doesn't mean that we still cannot connect to an animal totem that we don't have to
Right.
necessarily see, like, in actual form, but it
Yes.
can come to us in images or stuffed animals.
Stuffed animals, images, stuffed animals, drawings,
Yes.
artwork, cards,
Yes.
photography. I mean,
Yes.
National
Yeah.
Geographic. I don't
Yeah.
know, just so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
And I think the only other one for me is like elephants. I've never seen one,
Oh,
and I've never, but I feel like I know them. Like, I feel it,
interesting. We've
like,
never talked about that before.
yeah, that's the whole animal thing, right?
Yeah,
It's like I just feel like
yeah.
I've been a part of that. Um, I don't, they just feel like home. They feel like I feel like I get it. I
Oh,
get them.
they're again that they're also majestic, right? They're huge.
Yes.
Actually, my bestie Tracy, she really gravitates to elephants as well.
Mm,
That's
love
funny.
it.
The elephants are cool. I always, when I think of elephants, I see them as mom, dad, and baby, where they're tied, trunk to
Yes.
tail, and
Yeah.
their memory and their love for family.
Hmm.
I just, they walk this earth with grace and power, and I
Yeah.
don't, yeah, I can see that. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I think
I've
we were
ridden an
part of a
elephant before.
really?
Yes, Johnny and I
Damn.
in Thailand, we got to ride an elephant. It
Oh,
was very fucking cool. Yeah. But
wow.
what were you gonna say? You and I, what?
Oh, I think we were part of a part of a elephant crew.
You think we were part of
Oh, I was just gonna say maybe we were
a
part of an
herd?
elephant tribe, like an
Yeah.
elephant family. Like,
Yeah,
they
maybe.
have transgenerational memory, right? So they are
They
very,
do.
very powerful. Their
Hmm.
DNA is like really profound. Yeah.
I
So
know.
who knows? Are you
Ready?
ready? Do you want to do, how do you want to do it? What do you want to do one for me? Do you want me to do one for you? Do you want to do a,
Yeah, let's do that. I
I
love that.
don't know.
That
It
feels
feels
really
kind
cool.
of
It's different.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels kind of fun. And of course, other people can also decide which one that they're going to ahead of time be the message for them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go first. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh,
I
go
mean, I've
girl.
been shuffling these bad boys for a while. I was
I
making
know.
lots of sounds.
Yeah. I'm like, can we pause for a minute?
Oh
No.
my God, it was so loud. So I'm going to just place in my hand. I've already asked Spirit. So this is
Mm.
Manjeet's card. Let's see what it is. Armadillo Spirit. Set
Oh.
healthy boundaries. Look at that's really
Oh.
interesting, right? Armadillo.
Armadillo. Yeah. See, like that's part of it. Like you might think, how come I can't get like a really sexy animal and shit?
Shit.
But you know
An
what?
armadillo. It's
Armadillos are badass.
they are,
You
and think about the shell. That's the first thing that I think about,
yes,
right?
yes. And as a
Healthy
little
boundaries. So
cancer,
that shell. Yeah. Oh yeah, you and your shell, dude.
I'm a little crab. Yeah, like
You
I gotta
are.
protect myself and all the
You
goodness.
do. So here we go. I'm going to read it out of the guidebook
Mm,
because I am not familiar, but it does tell me, of course, it's about boundaries, healthy boundaries, but the shell around you, right?
yes,
Having that.
yes.
So the oracle message learning to set healthy boundaries is the gift of Armadillo Spirit. You are entering a phase where, in order for you to be in alignment with your intentions and co create your best life, you may have to be discerning and say no to many things that have been okay for you in the past. Oh,
Mm.
interesting. This also means that you need to learn where you end and where others begin, what is yours to own and what is not. Know your limits and understand that it's an empowering choice to say no to what doesn't feel right. Armadillo Spirit is here to tell you it's a time to be honest with yourself about what you really want. Be clear on what you are agreeing to, declare what your needs are, and say no as a full sentence. There are acts of respect and kindness to others as well as to yourself. Trust your body's signals, and you will know what to do. Armadillo Spirit guides you in making good decisions that are grounded in a strong sense of what belongs to you and what does not.
Mm.
Ooh, that's a great message for all of us. But think about
Yes.
that. Because immediately I think of when I saw it, I thought of, oh, the shell, right? Boundaries protect your
Yeah,
body.
for
But
sure.
this is about protecting your decisions, right?
Mm.
And you have said this many times, saying no is okay. And I love how they said no is a full sentence.
Yes, so good. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
So, what you like, what you don't like, what resonates, what doesn't resonate. So, I don't know. Maybe there's something going on in your life as you move forward, or maybe it's already happened.
Yeah.
Maybe where you've been in a position to protect yourself and your energy, and where you've
Yes.
had to say, no,
Yes.
no, that my decision, I'm not going to engage, or
Yeah.
that's not for me. Huh? Very
Yes, I
interesting.
know. It is. Yeah, it's very, very it is very like multi-layered for me because yes, it is really like about where do I want to how much energy do I want to spend here? and
Mhm.
sometimes with people that I really love and are very, very close to, and so that is all like definitely part of the protection that would serve me. But also I
Mhm.
liked about the card, the challenge for me about kind of branching out and like doing what is right for me. Like it's time to not be afraid of, kind of doing the things that are in alignment with who I am and what I want to do. Like what's the next phase, like
Yeah, and discerning about that.
yes.
So getting
Yeah.
into alignment, but discerning, I mean, at least
Yeah.
that's what the armadillo is saying to you, is discerning like
Yeah.
what I
Armadillo.
when you move forward, what you do want and what you don't want. And not necessarily allowing pushy people to tell you what you're going to be doing. Ah.
No, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. What a great card. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. I mean, right? It's
Yes,
like
I think so.
yeah,
Yeah, so
especially right
call
now though,
upon it.
as we're getting closer to fall and school starting, and there's going to be lots of guidelines and lots of things to think about and say yes
Yes.
to and say no to.
Yep.
So I'm going to pick a
Absolutely.
card for you. Are you ready?
All right. I'm ready, sis.
So I'm using the Archangel animal cards. So they're kind of interesting because they're connected with the archangels. Yeah,
Ooh,
I've
my
never seen this.
people.
It's Diane Cooper. Got a big
I've never
wolf
seen that art. Oh, I love that. I might
and
need to get me that deck.
that's a nice one. I'm just saying, it's beautiful.
I
So,
love it.
my card for you, my sister. What's your animal totem in this moment, message wise? Oh, interesting. So, oh my God, this is so interesting. It's the ant card.
Oh my God. That is so crazy because earlier I said to myself, I wonder if we're going to pull something stupid like the ant.
No way,
I
dude.
did. I
Oh my
did.
God.
I
And if you look, can you see this?
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's
Yeah, look at the
Metatron.
green. It
It's
is
it
the
is our
heart of
symbol.
Metatron. I
It's
love it. And look at the
our
green.
symbol.
It
It's
is. It
like Archangel
is.
Metatron.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
isn't that cool?
I
So
love it.
the ant
Sorry that I
is,
said it was stupid.
oh,
Sorry.
see, that is spirit telling you need to check yourself. Yeah, you
I
need to
really
check.
did. I was like,
Oh, you're gonna get the ant
like
card.
I'm gonna
Jesus.
pull the ant. Yeah, seriously. And I did. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, oh my God, what if we get the stupid ant?
Holy
Anyway,
shit, that is
sorry,
hilarious.
ant.
No, they are
Mhm.
saying cooperate for the highest good of the community.
Okay.
So this is really about, there's like a teamwork, right? There's this like
Oh
this.
yeah.
And it's Archangel Prem Preminilek. Preminilek?
Oh, it's
I even
not Archangel
yeah,
Metatron?
no, but well,
Oh,
I think it should
interesting.
be. So we're gonna
Oh,
just add that to the list because
okay.
it's definitely Archangel. Oh yeah, see, look in the book, it actually says the universal Metatron cube.
Yes.
So
Look at
it's in
that.
there. Yeah, it is literally
Love it.
the
It is. This,
the necklace that I
this,
got you.
it is literally. Yes.
Yes. So it says ants are tiny, but brave little warriors who always work
Mm-hmm.
together for the benefit of their community. They are fifth dimensional, right? And they ascend the ascended aspect of Sirius. So different like galactic. So they're really bringing in the galacticness, which makes sense because they're talking about Metatron.
Isn't Sirius the blue people or no, wait, go ahead.
I don't know if they're blue. I don't think so.
I thought
But they
Sirius.
Lakume, the ascendant aspect of Sirius, and they understand sacred geometry. They build their nests with love according to its principles so that the structures emit beautiful harmonics. This attracts angels to sing over them and draw many creatures and elements to their nest to bathe in angel light. See, you thought ants were.
Well, we had an ant problem this summer, just 3 weeks
Oh,
before we left for Cape Cod.
see.
I mean, the night before we left for Cape Cod, so which was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, how
I had to call
annoying.
an exterm. We just had ants all over our pantry. It was freaking me out. And I'm like, what the hell? We don't ever have ant problems. So
Wow.
obviously trying to get my attention.
I
Isn't that
love
wild?
that. Yeah, the guidance is the message to the ant card is that is so weird that
I know.
I'm dying right now because you're like, I hope it's not the fucking ant card.
I know. I can't believe I said that and got it. I totally deserve that. Thank you.
Oh, so it's just basically saying devote yourself to making your home welcoming and harmonious, which it always is, while at the same time acting to bring your community together. You take small steps like picking up litter or smiling at your neighbors.
That's
It's
the Chelan
understanding.
house.
Oh,
We
it
just did
is.
that. Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah, no, or aim higher and actively offer yourself in service. So maybe there's something in that community that needs your help.
Yeah.
The ants
I
carry the
love
key
it.
to Sirius, which is to understand the universal Metatron cube. Um, it basically the Metatron cube is, I mean, it absorbs energy, so and it is like a protection of sacred
Hmm.
geometry, which you wear, and is
Hmm.
really helpful in your reading. So that is why I also wanted to gift it to you, because it's
Hmm.
very powerful at the divine. So I just think that's so interesting. They're the smallest creatures on our planet, but they're connected to the galaxies.
Right.
I mean,
Hmm.
a star system with geometry, which makes sense that we don't always see that, but
You're
it's
right.
important to believe it,
Yes.
which is a
And
lot
they
like
do.
what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, but if you think about it too, the community, how ants work together when they're carrying
Yes.
shit and how they protect the queen. I mean, it
Yes.
is really quite interesting if you study ants. And I just learned so much about them recently. So I guess in a way it doesn't surprise me that the ants
Oh,
showed up, ant spirit. Like, Mayume,
yeah.
we've been trying to get a hold of you. Yeah.
We're going to invade your pantry.
Yes. I sure did, man.
I can't believe that.
Fuck
When I got it, I
yeah.
was kind of like, oh, okay, the ant card, that's interesting. But
Uh-huh.
it's interesting because it says with the Metatron, and I didn't really know this, the Metatron cube, it opens up your consciousness to sacred geometry, and the pattern acts as codes that start to balance you and bring you into alignment with your soul blueprint. So the
Mm.
angels will begin to sing, pouring their beautiful sonics over you. This will attract higher energies and people towards you. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, it does. That's so cool. And the part about the home is that I love that. Thank you.
Yes.
I just moved in last weekend to our new Chelan vacation rental. So, which was, it's still a lot of work left to do, but assembling things and setting up and trying to really create this beautiful home that's welcoming because we're going to have it available to rent. It's a rental property. And we did
Nice.
sit out on the porch, on our cute porch, eating pizza. I had two of my daughters and my longtime friend Melissa and my sister-in-law
Oh.
Renee, and then of course Melissa's daughter Jaden, who was the flower girl in my wedding. So she was there,
Oh.
and we all sat out there and watching all the kids and the families and the people because the front door it comes out to a park. So that's exactly, it was community and watching all these people
Wow.
walk by us and we're saying hi and waving and meeting people. Oh, I'm in this house down here. It was just awesome. So that really
Oh.
resonates, that part. Yeah.
Geez, it's so awesome. I'm just saying. It's
I'm just
cool.
saying.
It's some cool shit. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think
Awesome.
at
I
the
love this.
intuitive circle, I want to talk to people about what animals are coming to them, and, maybe do a little bit of
Yes.
storytelling, about that. And then there's a
Yeah.
meditation to help connect
Yeah.
you with your totem at this
My
moment.
totem.
So,
Will you draw a card
yeah.
for them at all? Do you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
wonderful.
use different decks for different circles. I'm sure you do
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one I got specifically for the animal, for this animal totem one. So yeah,
Oh,
I'm super
nice.
excited. And I don't know this deck very well. So I got to do a little bit more research. And
Yeah.
yeah, the meditation's really badass. It's going to be really fun to connect you with your animal in this moment, kind of who wants to come forward.
Yeah. I
So
love it.
yes, thank you
Yeah,
so
and sharing
much for
stories. Thank you.
this.
This is fun. Animals are the best. I love talking about them.
Yes.
So, I mean, this could be, like you said, part two. Maybe we should
Yes.
invite an animal communicator and what that looks like. And I don't know, maybe do some readings for people. I mean, maybe they have some questions about what's going on with their pet. I mean, that's probably why you would hire
Yeah.
an animal communicator is you need
Yeah.
help with your fur baby or something. I just know. I just think it's really amazing to connect and powerful, and they walk the earth with us. So we absolutely should be honoring
Yes.
them. Absolutely. Cool.
Amen.
Armadillo and the ant. Love it.
Yes. Well, don't armadillos eat ants?
Oh, God. No,
Do they?
anteaters do.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought
Good, because that would have been
anteaters.
weird.
Oh, my God.
That's good. Oh my God. Well, I love you. Thank you for
I love
doing this
you
with me.
too.
This was so
So
much
fun.
fun. You are the
Awesome.
best. Mwah. Namaste,
Best.
everybody.
Bye, guys.